All right, let's get into this because it's a wild one. We're heading to the heart of Kalos for a story that's all about questionable adult supervision and even more questionable career choices. I mean, this is basically a masterclass in climbing the corporate ladder, if that ladder was in a sketchy back alley and, oh yeah, dangerously electrified. So let's meet our protagonist, Emma. And right off the bat, you know she's special. She holds the esteemed title of Suspicious Child. Yep, not just a child, or a lady, or a woman. She's all three, apparently. Suspicious Child isn't just a label, people, it's a whole vibe. And it really tells you everything you need to know about how Kalos handles its, childcare. So here's the game plan. We're going to follow the case file on how you go from orphan to detective with a little detour through corporate espionage. We'll look at her unlikely start, a very questionable side gig, the big unmasking, let's call it a bittersweet promotion, and what she's up to now. It's the classic rags to riches to mind-controlled supervillain to riches story. You know the one. All right, Section 1, an unlikely partnership, or, as I like to call it, how to solve child homelessness with an unpaid internship. So, our story kicks off in the dazzling Lumiose City, the City of Light. And here we meet our key players, an international detective named Looker and a homeless orphan, Emma. Looker's first big case in the city, panicked parents are reporting kids hanging out in suspicious alleyways. So Looker, whose main skill seems to be looking very, very concerned, bravely dives into the gritty underbelly of the city to find Emma and her Esper, Mimi, just playing. Yep, the crime of the century, right there. And Looker's solution to this, public menace? Absolutely revolutionary. He says, I'd like you to work as my assistant here at the Looker Bureau. He just offers this kid a job and a place to live. I mean, that is definitely standard police procedure, right? No background check, no call to social services, just, hey kid, want to be my partner in crime fighting? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, on to part 2, a questionable side gig. Subtitle, Gaining Work Experience and a Remote-Controlled Personality. Because, one unpaid internship just isn't enough to make it in the big city. So Emma's got goals, right? She wants to be a proper trainer, but that means she needs money to buy Pokeballs for her friend Mimi. So she finds an ad for some part-time work. And who's the employer? A totally trustworthy scientist named Dr. Zerosic. And the job title? Expansion Suit Test Subject. Seems legit. I'm sure there are zero red flags here. And you've got to appreciate the synergy here between her two jobs. At the Looker Bureau, her duties are things like learning to read and write, assisting a detective, basic arithmetic. But over at 06's lab, her duties include vandalizing museum paintings, stealing Pokeballs, wearing a mind control suit, and my personal favorite, being knocked unconscious remotely. It's all about that work-life balance, Gotta build a diverse resume. Section 3. The unmasking of Essentia. Or, the master criminal was calling from inside the house. Right as Emma's settling in, this mysterious figure named Essentia starts causing trouble. And guess who's on the case? Our boy Looker. So, let's just look at the Looker Bureau's case file here. Chapter 1, Investigate Kids in Back Alleys. Result? He hired one. Chapter 2, a new thief, Essentia, appears. And where does she lurk? In alleys. Shocking. Chapter 3, they bait the alley-dwelling thief. Chapter 4, they corner Essentia and she looks kind of familiar. And then, the final chapter. He realizes the master criminal is his own assistant. Case closed. I mean, it only took him 5 chapters to identify the culprit living in his own house. You just can't teach that kind of brilliant detective work. So how does it all come out? Well, the big shocking reveal happens when they corner Essentia. The suit tries to make her attack her own Esper, Mimi. But her love for her cat is too strong. So Looker, being the hero he is, dives in the way, the suit malfunctions, and Essentia flees. Basically, her programming had a conflict with her love for her cat, which led to the only logical outcome, assaulting her boss. A classic workplace dispute. Part 4, a bittersweet promotion. Subtitle, From Test Subject to Sole Proprietor. Now that the truth is out, you'd think there would be, consequences? Therapy? Nah. The adults are going to handle this with their usual level of competence. So let's break down the aftermath. Step 1, Zerosic confesses everything. He feels terribly guilty, you guys. Step 2, he conveniently gives Looker the remote to shut down the suit. How nice of him. Step 3, you, the player, have to defeat Essentia a few times. Step 4, Emma is freed and, oh yeah, has absolutely no memory of her entire crime spree. Convenient. And finally, Step 5, Looker just leaves Kalos forever, and he leaves his agency, his money, and all his problems to the teenager who is just being mind-controlled. I mean, this is just peak adulting right here.
And you gotta admit, her side gig as Essentia was way more lucrative than that unpaid internship. Look at these performance bonuses. The first time you battle her, she's earning over 9 grand. Second time, almost 10 grand. She was a financial prodigy. Maybe that's why Looker left her the agency. She was the only one who could actually turn a profit.
So that brings us to our final section. The future is Detective Chic, or, as the subtitle says, she kept the suit. Let's fast forward a bit to the future of Lumio City. Years later, what's Emma up to? Well, she's the head of the detective agency now. She's got a chic new haircut, a trench coat, and, yep, she's wearing her old expansion suit underneath it. Because why would you let a perfectly good mind control suit go to waste? She has fully embraced her past and turned a tool of corporate crime into a fashion statement. She even stuck a keystone on it. It's called upcycling, folks. Very resourceful. So this leaves us with one last question. Really, with a history of corporate espionage, larceny, and assault, is Emma the best person to run a detective agency, or is she the perfect person? Think about it. In a city that's about to go through a massive redevelopment, maybe the best person to uncover the truth is someone who already knows all the tricks to hide it.